What's up, everybody? Billy Tucci here on this glorious Friday. We're having a beautiful day up here on Long Island. I actually got the chance to take my son fishing early this morning, and took my wife to lunch for one of our favorite restaurants. Is right by the water. We're right down here by the water, and we had a nice little lunch date. But I'm coming here to you on a very special edition of Pop XP, and we're going to talk about back to comeback. That the industry is climbing back, clawing out of the abyss. The engines are rolling on all the publishers. Comics are being delivered. And I'd love to introduce my guest, the brain behind all this, the man, the myth, the legend, the one who actually came up with the concept, your friend and mine, Mr. Josh Geppi.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I think it's more of a more than I deserve, I think, as an intro. And there's a lot of people involved in this comeback, not just me, but, you know, I had my hand in it.
I hear you, buddy. I hear you. But no, you're doing it. No, but I remember when we had talked about this a while ago, and he's like, it's a secret. Don't say anything about it. And now you're going to launch it with the hashtag, back to comeback and www.backtocomeback.com. And then your father started talking about it on our show last week.
My eyes went crossed. I was like, really, on the eve of the announcement dropping, he's giving clues. I'm like, you can't stop this guy. You can't stop him. But it's his business. He can do it as he wishes.
Yeah. So we got some voices here. So as I was saying, Josh, we had a beautiful day, and Jeff McKenzie says, "What did you catch?" I didn't catch anything, but I almost threw someone back. I almost threw a dude in the water, some guy. So I took my son Matthew. We went to the dock, and there's schoolie stripers, which are smaller striped bass, are swimming, and so you fish from the dock, and so I get there, and the dock is really big. It's about 200-300 feet, but there's one man on one end, and so I'm like, so let's walk to the other end. So I go to the other end, and I didn't see this guy's poles were on the corner, but that might have been another 30 feet away from me. So I'm sitting there. My son he forgets his sunglasses. He goes back in my truck to get the sunglasses. So I'm sitting there and I'm just cutting bait up because there's a few of the little bait platforms, but I'm just using this bait platform. And this guy walks up. And he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me, man?" And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "You got the whole dock here. My poles are right there. You see my poles?" And I'm like, I said, "Yeah." I said, "Dude," I said, "Don't worry. I'm just cutting up the bait here and get my rigs because there's a bench so I can sit here and do this." He's like, I don't understand why the hell you're here. If I'm sitting over here, you see me, this is my spot over here. I'm like, dude, am I going to have to fight you over this? Like, you want to fight, right? No, I didn't say you want to fight. I said,
you're the only person getting to fight fishing.
My son Matthew remembers. I'm like, am I going to have to fight you over this right now? Right now. He's like, oh, no. I'm just saying, that if there was a lot of people here, then I understand, but there's no one here. And I'm like, I'm just using the fucking bank, fucking stand to cut my bait and rig up my stuff. I said, I'm going to walk down. Why the hell do I want to be on top of you? No, I'm a nice guy. I'm like, yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, that's funny. So
then we fished, and then he didn't look at me the whole time. And fishing is very relaxing, like Jeff Vaughn says. So,
I like where it said on the chorus that TJ James said, "Hey, Josh gets to talk this time."
Yeah, exactly. Your dad was brilliant. Your dad's actually on right now, as Roz would say, on the laugh floor at Disney World's Tomorrowland. We're always watching, Josh.
Always watching.
Yeah, you got people watching you, dude. Yeah, we got a lot of people. Hello, everyone. I can open up the other pages. I can open up Niall's page and the crowdfunding comics page because we have different viewers on different streams. So if anyone's out there watching, go to my page. Like it on the Pop XP Facebook page, but go to my Facebook page or follow the link and come to the YouTube channel. All right, guys?
Show Billy some love.
Right. So anyway, brother. So how are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I've managed to hold together pretty well over it. Like most people have been working from home, obviously, because of the situation. I've actually been in the office for almost the entire time because we're very kind of
social distancing.
So, of course, social distancing. But we got a big space. We only have a few people as they've come back and started to work. But everything's been good. A lot of work going on. I've probably worked 18 hours of every day for the last couple months. But it's worth it because I always said it, if it helps things get back to where it should be, I'm willing to work as long as it takes, man. Honestly, I'm getting good people back as a result. So I'm stoked. But I've been able to do a couple things, watch a couple shows here and there as I had a minute, and kind of try to relax my brain. I was supposed to be off today, and I'm at work again. I was supposed to take the day, and I'm like, no, it's crappy outside. We'll take that day another time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and like I said, it's beautiful here. Debbie and I went to lunch to our one of our favorite restaurants, JT's on the Bay in Blue Point. If you ever hear Blue Point Oysters or Blue Point Brewery, you know that's the next town. We're two little hamlets.
Yeah,
and got to sit outside and have some lunch, and it was great. It was great, nice and relaxing, you know, and just hopefully we are getting back to normal. But what shows? Before we get into this, let's have a little fun here. So what shows have you been watching?
I am addicted, and I got my father addicted to The Blacklist. The Blacklist show, it's actually weird because, you know, they were filming and doing this stuff at the height of the coronavirus. And the last episode they aired, they did a special where they actually half animated it. Like, so it was some real life action kind of stuff or live action. And then it was also partially animated, which was really cool. But they had some messages from the different cast members to say, hey, we'll be back, you know, when everything's safe and all of that. It was a cool, feel-good kind of deal, but it's such a great show. I got my father into it. Yeah. He's like, hey, did you watch this thing? And we're both trying not to spoil it for the other person. I'm not so good at that because I'm like, yeah, I know something you don't. And then I try to get him with it. But, yeah, it's really a good show, man.
Yeah, we watched like the first season, and then you know how things happen. You know, life gets in the way. And then, but we haven't watched it. But I got to start picking some stuff up. Look at this, Jeff again. For some reason, my Facebook, the Facebook comments are not showing up in our little comment section here.
Mm-hmm.
So I apologize for that, everyone. But I'll answer your questions. TJ, could you do me a huge favor? Could you please share the link to www.backthecomeback.com, please? He's one of our boys there, one of our moderators. But anyway, so, I mean, this is a really exciting time. I mean, the reopening of everything. I mean, the country went through some real serious, I mean, wow, it's went through something that it's never gone through before. And I feel that, and we're surviving. You could see people are getting, they're getting a little tired of it. And they want to get back to work. They want to start to socialize again, of course, safely. You know, it's nice seeing the restrictions are softening. The states are opening up. And one of those, obviously, and thankfully, is our comics industry.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great to see people starting to emerge. I mean, remember, we're going through something. There's no guidebook to this. There isn't. This is like being written as it goes. Nobody's ever have to deal with like a shutdown on this level where people can't go anywhere. I mean, yeah, the world's been bad before, but everybody's kind of dealing with it in a whole new situation. So everybody's like, oh, this is too soon, or this is too late, or this is this. So nobody knows, man. Some people are shooting from the hip. The other people are trying to do everything as safely as possible. You know, the economy has to keep going. You know, people are going to rely on their incomes. You know, people can't wait forever. But we're trying everything we're doing on our end, and we have great people on these projects, especially with Back to Comeback and distribution in general. Everything's done with safety in mind, number one. That's the thing. It's like we're not doing anything that's callous or like, negligent and trying to throw people back into the fire. You know, our employees at the distribution center are distanced from each other. We're making sure they're taken care of, make sure the customers are taken care of, make sure everything's handled the way it should be so people feel safe about it, including with the message from Back to Comeback is to go to support your local retailers, but do so safely. You know, we're not trying to be here, run and bombard their stores and stand as close as you can to the next person and make sure you're licking somebody on the face. We're not telling people to do stuff that's just out of line.
Yeah.
We're telling them to go and be responsible, but also support the people that have been there for them. You know, they need your help now.
Yes.
You know, it's like they need to survive. They've got small businesses. The comic business is a big business, but you know what's at the heart of it? Small business. That's the beating heart of the comic industry are these stores. Yeah. And it's not like a pitch to anything. It's the absolute truth. You need the retail stores. We need to support them. They're here. They support us. So come on now, go out there and show them some love. Buy books from. Let them know you care. And that's the message basically behind the comeback stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, could you give a little insight? Now, again, it's great to see. I'm seeing quotes. It's nice to see Josh has a voice. Josh is actually can speak.
I knew that was going to be the worst thing. I get roasted on.
Yeah, nah, but it was great. I mean,
I'm not even drinking this time because I had to do something last time.
Well, you know, your father, he was extraordinary, and it was great to see you guys taking a leadership position, and being very proactive, which is fantastic. But can you give the people out there, the viewers out there, a little insight on what Back to Comeback is?
Well, it's like the initiative is like to say it's the show support. Yeah. It's the support mechanism. It's saying let's start something. It says here, let's get the message out there and look. It's saying our comeback will be bigger than the setback. Yeah, the setback was a horrible thing, but you know what? We're going to come back better, stronger. You know, there's going to be more things that emerge out of this. There's not be an opportunist and say there's so much opportunity in a pandemic. It's not just saying, look, people are going to draw together. There's going to be unity in a lot of stuff. And we're trying to preach that message of unity across our entire industry. Yes, there's different publishers, there's different retailers, but if we all come together and for the greater good, we amplify our signal, we show them that we're all going to be here and we're going to outlast this thing. And it's going to be a great, it's going to be a great time that comes down the road once this stuff starts to filter away. We get people knowing about what these comic shops are and where they can go to them and, supporting them.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be a part of it because it's not just the message. It's, they're doing, charity fundraising in June. We have July. I'm sorry. We have an auction that we're going to be doing pieces, which I'm going to be hitting Billy Tucci up for a piece to put in that auction.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
See, now you're on there. You got to do it.
I got to do it now. Damn.
But we're going to auction stuff to go to the charities that help the comic and game stores. Remember, this isn't just about comics either. This is comics and game stores. We got Diamond Comic Distributors, we got Alliance Game Distributors, and a lot of comic stores are also game stores.
Yeah.
We want to preach that message of saying, hey, support these guys. And what has had more of an influx like now? It's like games, especially when people are at home, they can't do anything. Also, people buying comics like online, whatever it is, because they need entertainment. They're locked away in their home. They can't go anywhere. They can't do anything. I encourage people to still go outside, walk in the grass, whatever you got to do, get some sunlight. Don't be like a hermit, but take a book outside.
You need that vitamin D, man.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you. I'm you got to recharge the batteries. Yep. I was excited to go to Home Depot the other day. I'm walking in and I'm like, oh my God, this is like a new world. And I'm like, of course, with the mask and you're like, oh, I can't talk and it's so much stuff. But when I went out and I'll back this up. This week with the new comic shipping was a huge news, right? So stores are starting to get, the new comics coming out from Diamond. Wednesday, I got to go to Mark Nathan's shop, Cards, Comics, and Collectibles in Reisterstown, which is actually Steve's LCS because he's in Reisterstown, Maryland. So I surprised Mark. I brought Steve along. He really wanted to go. He was amped up. He goes, yeah, I want to go. I said, you want to go to the comic store tomorrow? And he's like, yeah. He canceled his meeting he had. We jumped in the car, surprised Mark. It was awesome. We got to go there, did curbside. Mark came out, surprised him. We got to talk about things, took some pictures. And it was just nice, man, because it's being at a comic store is part of the experience of comics. Yeah, it's great to read them. But I have a smile ear to ear when I walk through the doors of a comic store. Okay? It has been, it's just something that just energizes me anytime I get in one. I always say that to Mark. I go, you see my face when I walk in this door. Every time I walk in your doors, I'm never in a grumpy mood. I have a smile on my face. I brought my youngest Peyton in there, and it's really, it's really nice when she gets to go into the store. She feels the same way I do, so it's awesome. What's Jeff chiming in with?
This pause we've been going through has set a lot of people to their back issue boxes and game closets, and they've rediscovered the joys of these things can provide. Yeah, absolutely,
100% true.
Yeah. And the back issues, I mean, you remember even with DC Comics is, I think it was Dan DiDio last year at one of the retailer conferences, and he was lamenting of how their reprints, their facsimile editions were outselling their new comics. Because there's a lot of great, like I said, back issues, man. There's a lot of the greatest comics of all time are printed on newsprint,
Yeah. Oh God, the smell is the best. It's old comics. Remember when I started working for Dime, this is back in 1998 when I started working for the company. And when I go through old comics, then when I got a job in the gallery back in towards the 2000 area. And now I fast forward, I'm president of the gallery, but I've worked hard over the years to get where I'm at. It's not just, hey, it's Steve's son, so I'm automatically doing it. But I've done a lot of jobs in this company.
Yeah.
But the smell of those comics. Like we had the Harveys, like the old ones from the Harvey warehouse, the file copies, like old Richie Riches, which were always my favorite comics to read, were the old Harveys, because I love like the cartoons here. I love the Richie Rich ones, the Casper, all that stuff. And I just smell them. And I'm like, oh God, I'm like, that smell is just so nostalgic and so great. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I could just sit there. I mean, if they made a cologne, my wife might not like it, but I'd be like, I smell fantastic right now.
Speaking of this, we had a question from TJ James, and it's an interesting question and concerns with laws of your state or the city of Baltimore since you're there. Did Mark Nathan of Cards, Comics, and Collectibles in Reisterstown, who's also the proprietor of the Baltimore Comic Con, the Great Baltimore Comic Con, which is coming in October. I don't know if it's October 21st or something like that weekend. But did Mark mention anything about the show? Have you heard about your state opening up or anything?
I can't speak for Mark totally because I don't want to be like, oh, Mark said this. But Mark, I mean, it's planning to have a convention like everybody else is until they're shut down. I know that something with already Maryland, I want to say through August, end of August, I want to say all like these big events have been canceled.
Yeah.
So we've got no hope for anything. And if they're going to do sports, they'll be played in front of empty stadiums, which you'll throw a crack in there about the Orioles. They already play in front of no fans.
Yeah,
I'm going to beat you to it. I'm going to beat you to it because you're a Yankee fan.
Damn.
But the thing is, it's that kind of stuff. But I know if there can be a convention, there will be a convention. But Mark has safety in mind too. So just know that, I know he wants to have a convention, but I don't think he's going to do anything that's not safe. But I think by that time, I don't want to be like, looking in my crystal ball. But I think by that time, we're going to have some stuff going on. If conventions don't come back, this year, they'll be starting the beginning of the year. I think you'll start seeing them again. But that's, it could be wishful thinking, or it could be something that happens. It could be a cure for stuff.
Well, we got a fan from Aruba here. Oh, man, to be in Aruba, huh?
Aruba's gorgeous.
Yeah, I think we're going to plan on going on vacation to Aruba. That was our plan. And then 2020 happened in August. I'm going to go on vacation to Aruba.
I was supposed to be in Florida when they closed Disney World. I was going there with my family that weekend. They closed it down, and I'm like, awesome. And now I was actually supposed to take my daughter for her birthday in June, which is June 1st is my little girl Peyton's birthday.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, that's not happening now either. I'm like, nope, I don't care. It's like I'm not around that many people, especially Disney. I'm sure is going to get overwhelmed.
Yeah. Your father says, Steve Geppi says, if Billy is a Yankee fan, I retract my endorsement for him for president. He was saying Tucci for president. Now, let me tell you something. Steve, I got to tell you a story. My aunt was a huge Yankee fan, and it was 1973. And I went to my first Yankee game in 1973 at Shea Stadium because they were rebuilding the new Yankee Stadium. So I went to saw my friend, and Bobby Mercer hit a home run, and that was it. And the thing is, the Yankees sucked in 73. The Mets went to the World Series. They lost to the A's in 73, but that's how I became a Yankee fan. If my Aunt Marie, who's a huge Met fan, my other aunt, if she took me to a Met game, I'd be a Met fan.
John,
and I got to tell you, the funny thing about us is like Yankee fans, we really don't think about Met fans. Met fans hate us. As Yankee fans, we don't even really consider. We're
not real fans.
Yeah,
I went to the baseball games when I was a kid with my father in Memorial Stadium. And like I would go to them, we had seats that were like on like the first base side, past first base, and there's that cutout. Like the ball went in there. I remember my dad chucking me down there and be like, here, go get the ball. I'm thinking worried about the safety of it. He just wanted the ball. He's like, here. It's probably landed on my head. My dad he was a little rough when I was a kid, but I think that's why I have a high threshold for pain. But it's, it was fun. It was good memories.
I guess that's his second greatest moment. The one I always wonder is your dad gave his tickets to our friend Mike Richardson of Dark Horse Comics for
he's going to cover the 2131 videos and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think he high-fived him after his home run or something like that. I think he hit a home run or just at the end of the game. I think Ripken hit a home run in that game. I think he did. When he broke the Lou Gehrig's record.
Or a fun fact, I was the last person, I think, to shake Cal's hand as he ran around, did that lap. Because he went in the dugout and then popped back out. And he went, Josh, you went and shook my hand. I was like, see, there's something for the random facts.
That's badass. It's so funny. And Mike Richardson's so big.
Oh, he's huge.
Like,
he just reached there. He was in like the 19th row and just reached onto the field.
Yeah.
I got it right here. Oh, God, it's great.
I got a good Cal Ripken story, but I'm going to ask you that in private because it's just something I got to know. But we'll save that for a private conversation. They were rebuilding the original Yankee Stadium. Yes, not new Yankee Stadium. I saw my first Yankees game. Oh, wow. So Jeff saw his first Yankee game at Shea, too.
Yeah.
How about that? So,
Jeff
so
one of my favorite people. I love that.
Yeah, he's a good man. He's a real good man. So, Jeffrey Mayer sucks.
That's got to be Steve because he's still living on the Jeffrey Mayer robbed home run stuff.
Oh, come on, man!
That kid's like 40 now.
Yeah, he was in the parade. I was at the game. I was at Game 6 when the Yankees won, and then we went to the parade, the ticket tape parade, and he was in the parade. He was on one of the
New York mentality. That's the New York mentality. Yeah, we did. Sweet.
That's Jeffrey Mayer. He was like 12 years old, man. Oh, yeah. Okay. Ripken hit home runs in all 3 of his games that weekend. So I think Richardson gave him the high five when he was coming around his last lap. All right.
That was when I think he did the whole lap. Yeah. When he actually it turned over the numbers and he did the victory lap around it. He reached out into the fan or the stands and shook his hand.
So, all right. So listen, let's get, because we've already had you on 22 minutes. I told you we'd only keep you for a short time.
I'm good. I'm good.
But just some, just things that people want to know is about you mentioned gaming stores are open too. Now I've got my great friend Alan Pappernon. He's got geez, why am I drawing a blank on his the Comic Book Depot in Wantagh, Long Island. He's got a huge gaming part of his store. Huge, where kids come, people come like a couple of times a week and play games. How is that working out? Are they wearing,
Well, the thing is, like I said, I don't think they're encouraging any in-person gaming. Like in the stores, people are buying the product. But I know when I talked to Mark and Shelley, I think they said something like, as far as they were doing some D&D stuff online. I want to say a lot of these stores might have started to do whatever clientele they have. They have maybe some virtual things they're doing with them. There's a lot of games that can be played, just like we're doing right now.
Right.
People then they have stuff on Steam, like whatever that little video game stuff is. But yeah, I don't think it's so much foot traffic. There's going to be people coming in yet for that because they get a lot of people in those gameplay scenarios where they've got big stores like, what is it, Millennium Comics and Games that Travis has in New York, and they've got like a huge store and they've got a huge gaming area. I don't think you're going to see anytime soon that people are going to flood something. But, like I said, game stores are back too, but I think it's more the same thing with comics, curbside service, personal shopper kind of things. But again, they need the support, but they're also selling product because, again, people need to be entertained.
Yeah.
And especially with kids home. And that's the thing. The parents are having to entertain their kids a lot more than they normally would, months before they would have to because of the fact the schools are out.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff going into that too. I mean, but basically with the initiative with to go back to that a little bit, the first wave was like, getting people aware of stuff. It was like, here, this is coming back, show them support as we reemerge. Obviously, we had to shut down because it was a safety issue. Printers were shutting down, all this kind of stuff. You had to make a call. I think the right call was made. But you now have the message out there. People are participating. There's a lot of people that, that have a lot of great things to say. You're always going to get your naysayers or people are going to pick on things, but it's for a good cause. We're not seeing anything monetarily out of this. It's to boost a signal to do something good. It's not about saying, oh, we're going to make all this money because we're selling this. The money that, like from the website, for instance, it's backtocomeback.com. You can buy a T-shirt just like Billy and I have, with Back to Comeback. And it's a campaign just like a Kickstarter would be, but the money goes to the charity. So they raise money and they send that stuff out to the buyer. Money gets split to from the Jack Vassell Foundation, which is for the game stores, and Bank Charity, which is for the comic stores. It gets split from that. So that's a good thing. You can find that on the website. They also have the link for the charity auction from digauction.com because we're doing our different auctions on there, but we're doing the charity auction on that. So you'll have information on there. The other cool thing is a lot of these publishers that we've been talking to slowly but surely are getting on board more and more to put the logo on the comic books. I know people have their feelings about the comics code. Some people are like, oh, we didn't look, it's not about what the comics code was. It's about having a symbol on the books. Right. And I know I've heard some commentary on saying, is it a pandemic collectible and are you cashing in? But no, it's not about that.
Yes, it is. Those books would be worth a lot of money.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's denoting a time of history more than anything.
Yeah.
So I look at it from that. So when people go back years later and say, "Oh, I found this comic," you know when this comic was? It was those 6 months that this came out to the end of the year of 2020. Let's say from June to December. I know when that comic was.
Yeah.
I really know when this comic was from. But it also encourages people to go to their comic shops, buy some of these books, and have them, and say, "Look, I can collect the whole set that came out from June to the end of the year." And you don't know which books it's going to be on at just this point. A lot of stuff's getting fleshed out, but there'll be more information available. We'll put it up on the website. People will see it, but it's a nice thing. What we want to do is give the retailers every tool we can right now to help them. And it really is coming from a really good place. Okay, I don't want to sit up here like a salesman. I'm trying to make an elevator pitch to anybody. That's not me. Billy, you've known me for years. I'm not the most eloquent person in the world, but I'm the most honest, I think, when I'm talking about this stuff. I don't BS anybody. I really just don't. It's not in my nature to do it. But I really think this is a great project, and it's something that's sending a great message of unity. Otherwise, I wouldn't back it myself. Right. And that's the thing. I'm like, I believe in this. I was at the comic store, and it wasn't for, hey, look at me, I'm the comic store. I went because I believe in this initiative. I'll go and I'm going to get all my comics now from Mark instead of getting from the company. I'm like, I'll go to the shop and get my comics as I want them from his store because I'm putting my money where my mouth is and saying, look, I'm backing this. You guys back it. This is how we get out of this. This is how we reemerge. This is how it's successful. This is how we rebuild. And yes, everything's going to be new coming out of this, but everybody keeps talking about going back to normal. I mentioned on the other show, I'm like, look, well, what was normal? Was it so great before? Can we be better than we were before? Can we come to a world? And I always tease stuff about talk about like people are drinking bleach or something like that because it said disinfect. I said, listen, if people are going to drink bleach or whatever, I'm in the new world. If those people aren't there, people that think you can drink bleach, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because they deserve it.
Yeah. Because it might be like,
did you see that
selection at that point?
Did you see that woman? She got arrested. Who the couple in I think Arizona who said the woman said, "Well, we drank the bleach because the president said to do it," which he never said. But she killed him. She got arrested for murder. She murdered him.
But people, it's like, use common sense. Now, if you're like, it's one thing if you have like a handicap or something, if you don't have like that brain capacity, protect those people first. Right. Because some people could look at this and say, hey, I was told to do this and not know. If you're not cognizant, if you can't control things, I feel for those people. But other people, I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, there's some dumb things set out there in this world right now, and God knows they come from every direction, but use common sense.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to see one big thing is that this thing is starting to catch on. I know you did your video stuff for Back to Comeback, because that's part of it, the challenge people to back it, challenge some other people, get the message out there. And we keep doing this, it starts amplifying a signal.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the Muttman had a really interesting thing to say is that we've all been spending time with our kids and doing things together and rediscovering games, like Jeff had said, pulling them out of the closet and playing with them and stuff. And I think it's a great opportunity for comic shops to actually expand more into kid-friendly things because, unfortunately, those Richie Rich books aren't super big. Those Peanuts collections aren't super big. They're not big on the forefront, and he says, this is why we need more all-age comics for kids.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I think it's the quality of what you put out, and it's also gear things. Kids are the future, man. If you look at those age group, what things are targeting, those are the future collectors. We're going to die. I mean, we're going to die at some point. It's a given. But we got to pass something on and pass on this passion we have for comics to kids. I was glad when Mark gave my daughter a recommendation I bought this week. He gave her those Amelia Rules books and all, and she loves reading. Nice. He goes, here, give her this. Every time I get something for her, I give her, and she loves it. She reads it. So that's breeding another little comic fan, another reading fan. She loves that stuff. And anything I can get my hands on that makes her smile, and I know that it's okay for her to read, because as a parent, I might not be the best parent in the world. I mean, you've had drinks with me. So, but it's like,
oh, not me.
I love my children. I really do. But I'm not saying I've done everything right, but I do want to give them something they're allowed to read and something that they enjoy, but it's not like breaking that, barrier and saying this is really inappropriate,
Yeah. And then Jeff Vaughn, there are more kid-friendly comics than there have ever been in years. But we do indeed, we do need more retailers to carry them. Boom, IDW, DC have some real good kid comics.
No, I agree that. I agree. Like Boom with Kaboom, like Boombox, all that kind of stuff. They do put out some really good products. I'm not saying there's none, but it's good to see that, I mean, everybody gets on board and it becomes a bigger thing and said it's appropriate for all ages. It doesn't have to cater to just a little kid. It could say it's just a cleaner storyline, whatever it is. It's something that's appropriate and they can read and get immersed in it.
Yeah. Now, your father had said 4 minutes ago that he wished he killed that kid, Jeffrey Mayer.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm like, he said he wished he killed me. I'm like,
no, Jeffrey Mayer. He wants to kill him. He would. Oh my God! Imagine Jeffrey Mayer's at the Baltimore Comic-Con and we're at the dinner. I'm like, there he is. And I'll go get his autograph, and then your father just
so much anger
or something.
So much angst.
Yeah. Anyway, but now that new comics are flowing again, right? We're open. You guys are delivering the books. The comic shops have the books.
Yeah.
Have you received any feedback from the retailers? Have you?
Yeah, like there's people who are saying, okay, it's great. It's good to be back. They're supportive. You're going to get the people. Listen, we're trying to be as hiccup free as we can in the rolling out of this stuff. There's people, that's not my area of things. I'm not in the distribution side of things, but we're working hard. There's always going to be little hiccups. And we're trying to get to everybody. There's so much of a backlog of different stuff from the shutdown. They're doing a great job, but you're always going to get the people that are like, okay, the Diamond's screwing this up. I said, listen, we're trying, we're doing on the fly a lot of things, but we're really getting there. Okay. This is going to be a process, but we have everybody poised and ready to go. I mean, we're taking everything serious. We're trying to get on every little issue of some of the box didn't show up, whatever. Remember, we're also dealing with carriers that are already overloaded. Look, Amazon can't guarantee a delivery. And that's the kind of stuff right now. So we have to go on ship dates and everything else and say, get your product by this date. You said, well, it didn't get to me. Well, I didn't know that UPS wasn't going to deliver for 3 days to your location on a whim, that kind of deal. But it's so far, it's been received pretty well. People are glad they're getting their comics. You watch the hashtag on Instagram, on Twitter, all this stuff. It's going pretty good so far, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, and JP and I don't think TJ Josh doesn't really do that. So we'd have to, when we get
I can't really comment on
Jim Lee on. We'll get Jim Lee on. We'll ask Jim Lee.
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing that?
Here you go.
We have JP over on Facebook is saying, like I said, we're on 4 pages right now, so it's hard for me to catch up. There's a lot of questions coming in, but JP says he bring back the days when kids rolled comics in their back pockets, read them in the park with their buddies, in the summertime, sharing comics. But here's something that we can do, Jay, when the conventions also do open up again. We can actually, I want to do a challenge, the roll-up comic, the great new comic mag challenge, where everyone bring an old comic that you could roll up and put in your pocket and then just exchange it with people.
Yeah.
Bring a comic that you can give and you trade it with somebody else and let them trade a book with you and then they'll do it to someone else.
A comic swap. That'd be awesome.
You can get. Yeah.
Well, it's also, remember, people go off about condition of comics. Comics weren't sold as a collectible to start. They were just like, it's entertainment. It's, it's timely thing. It comes out, it's like, okay, I'm going to read it. But now everybody wants a 10.0 copy that doesn't exist. And remember, from the printers, these things don't come even in 9.8 most of the time.
I know.
From the printer, we're another stop. It comes in, it's packaged in those boxes quickly, and then we get it, and everybody's like, well, Diamond did this. Oh, it forgets that UPS went and had their hands on them all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's a lot of factors in this. And yes, I love my comics in high grade. I buy a lot of stuff. I have my collection. I love comic books. But I'm also know that you're not going to find the perfect copy all the time.
Right.
It doesn't happen.
Now, what is this? I'm sorry. If you don't mind some questions, King Kitty, have you had the opportunity to work with any other logistics companies, barring Diamond? Anyone else?
Like as far as me personally, like holding a job outside of Diamond? Or just working in conjunction?
Are you working with this to try to get? We'll see if he gets back with us with that one. So,
yeah, it's as far as that goes. Like I've been with Diamond for 22 years now. If you count when I was working there as a teenager too in warehouses, I mean, I've been with the company obviously since day one because I was born in 1980. The company was formed in 1982. But I've been in the collectible side of everything, and then the creative side.
Mm. Now, someone said, what's back to feedback?
Back the feedback.
All right, maybe that's nothing. Sorry. Okay.
I don't know. What are you jacking my?
So basically, what you're saying is that with the hash with the hash. What about the comeback hashtag? Has it been, has the industry and the retailers, they seem to be pretty receptive of it. And have you gotten any resistance?
Oh yeah, we've gotten resistance on it because I think we try to do our best, put our best foot forward as far as explaining what this is. It's hard because everybody's like, oh, I think it's done maybe in haste and all stuff. So listen, it's not a big window. You have to do something like this to make a difference.
Yeah.
We put in a lot of effort to do things. Back to comeback, some people are like, I told you I had an issue with maybe the comics code. It was my idea to have a Harkin thing throw back to the comics code because it was already on books and all this stuff. Steve's idea was this slogan. Obviously, it says our comeback will be bigger than our setback. And we kind of do this, and Gary and Dawn Guzzo, who worked for Marvel years ago, they designed the actual logo. But people will say like, oh, this is not, this is tone deaf, this is this or whatever. I'm like, are kind of missing the point, I think, of it, saying, look, this is a unity thing, saying here, back your stores. What do they think? Whether you like the logo, whether you like that kind of stuff, it's be there for your stores. If you're against being there for your stores and backing their success and being there, that's a whole other issue.
Yeah.
We've seen resistance be like, well, I'm not going to do this. Even some people saying I won't buy a book if it has this. And it's like one or two outliers and stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel for those people. I'm sure they have their reasons for things, but it's all a good nature project.
Yeah.
It's not anything, like I said, where we're cashing in. It's not like Diamond gets all this money as a result of it. We're not trying to bend somebody over, lack of better terms, and say, here, we're shaking this money out of your pockets. We're trying because we're trying to get the retailer to make money. And we want to keep them around for a long time because they have sometimes a very thankless job where it's like people are just so used to getting their comics. And they don't realize what goes into the background of stocking a comic store or being there and putting your inventory together or doing your previews order. It's a monster to deal with. And these guys are doing it week after week after week. And it's tough. And they're not seeing these huge mounds of money all the time. It's like, be appreciative of what they're doing for you and go and back them. They're going to continue doing it because they love it. Most of these guys are passion driven is why they own a store. So, I mean, that's where I think this message, we got to keep echoing that factor. It's like, it's about supporting retail, we want people to support it.
Yeah. And it is a challenge, and it is if you want to call it a movement or just something, someone's got to do something. And it's a first step, and it's a good one because everyone talks about raising awareness. Well, let me tell you something. This is a pretty damn good way to raise awareness about the plight that we're open for business. And, you get those people that are like that, and you're always going to find negativity, apparently. Obviously, you will. But this is your dad, Steve, again, says, can you imagine what great stories Karl Barks,
not Burks,
based on modern times, in particular this pandemic, if he were still alive and writing and drawing comics. And, he'd make it great. He'd make it that kids could understand it, too.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I also want to encourage people, like I said before, about doing, like it says, with backtocomeback.com, going to it, but also doing the social challenge. And you don't have to have a shirt. Like when we did the shirts, okay, full disclosure, we did
nice shirts too.
We printed up some first. We sent them out to a few people because you go on the site right now, you'll order much like Kickstarter goes because it's a fundraiser. Yep. You get the shirts in there. The campaign ends in 2 weeks. The shirts get sent out to the people. They have it. You don't need the shirt to start the challenge. Just go and say, hey, I'm challenging this person. I always say that to people. We just want to make sure people saw what it was in certain things. Yeah. And it was more like there was a lot of internal shirts we did too, but we sent some to, quote unquote, influencer people or just industry people, professional, and people we wanted to have like some stuff. Couldn't get to everybody, obviously, but there was a lot of people willing to participate. But when you get the shirt, it'll be something very close to this, same kind of like style shirt, the same deal. Big logo on it, but that campaign I want to say has a few more days left in it from when we launched it originally, and then we'll probably re-up another campaign after it. So these shirts will ship, and then another campaign will emerge to ship more shirts to people. But it's good. Like you can go and do the challenge and say, hey, I'm back at the comeback. Tag your favorite comic store. You can go challenge a few of your friends, 5 of your friends, 10. It doesn't matter, and just say, hey, man, support your local store. Shout them out. Shout out your favorite artist, creator, whatever it is. But do something so it's fun. People compare it to the ice bucket challenge, but it's very similar. It's the same thing. It's a social viral challenge. Yeah. So you see this hashtag,
right? And the thing is, if you can't afford the shirt, if you can't afford it, then share it.
Share it.
Yep. And Liquor Jim has a thing, and I'd like to answer that too. I think, and you just covered it though. Is what I'm having a hard time understanding is how's promoting a charity in Michigan going to make money for a store in Tennessee, and if I may. And I feel that this is all it's very national, but it's very local because it's all about supporting your local comic shop.
Yeah.
and you can challenge your friends via social media. You know, hey, you're it. Tag you're it. Back the challenge. I'm gonna tag, Nancy McCann.
Yeah, and Diamond's not seeing, like I said,
yeah.
Diamond's not taking any of the money. We're not touching a dollar of this money. That's why the charities exist. The money goes to them. We're not touching that. It goes, we just send it. It's like, here, it's their money. They distribute it towards when people go in and filing out things for bank or Jack Vassell Foundation, whatever it is. We don't touch that kind of stuff. And there's a reason for that. I actually encourage people more than just going to the website to buy a t-shirt. I would encourage you, go and support the shop. That's the bigger message. Spend money with the store. If you're like, oh, I'm not buying a t-shirt, that's fine. You don't have to buy a t-shirt. It's going to go ultimately to supporting a lot of stores. But if you want to support your local shop, the best way to support your local shop is to give them your business.
Yeah.
Okay. Shop with them safely. Go support them, or send them messages of encouragement. Send them something. Say, hey, man, I'm so glad you're back at it. Congratulations. We got your back. Share their posts. If they have a live sale, a claim sale, whatever they got going on in social media, share it so you can get more people enjoying what they do.
Yeah, because people are hurting, right? Well, let's be honest. People are out of work. So you may not be able to go to say and pick up your books. But, but if you contact your retailer, say, again, I'm here to support you. I'll be in Tuesday. I'll be in Saturday. I'm coming. Are you open Saturday? Just get some open dialogue with them. Have a conversation with them. It'll make them feel better. And then just tell them. And if you say you're out of work, you know what I mean? There's 35 million Americans out of work right now, which is just insane. Coming from the best economy we've had ever, right? You know what I mean? A few months ago. But say, I can't come in, but could you hold them for me? Just have that open dialogue with them. Now, here's another question. Yeah, I want to ask these questions, but I don't know if you do this, Josh.
I can answer it.
Department, but is Diamond to improve the quality of your local comic shop order fulfillment? Shops lose money when they can't shelve books damaged by poor packing, missing from the boxes, that do show up.
Quality control is always something that's constantly looked at. How can we do things better? And how can we do stuff? We just redesigned the Diamond boxes. They have a flat bottom. We put a ton of effort. We got great people at our warehouses. Our operations guy, Sean Hamrick, is absolutely incredible. This is always at the top of our list, is saying, how can we get things more efficiently to the stores? And we do a pretty good job. I mean, most people see stuff posted how Diamond doesn't do this, Diamond doesn't do that. But we do get product pretty consistently to the stores undamaged. Our damage percentages are pretty low, especially for the millions of pieces of product that we come in contact with. And again, it harkens back to what we said. We don't always get perfect product in the door. So when it comes there, remember the UPS is involved, things can get thrown. You could have your UPS driver kicking every box. It doesn't matter how you pack those books. Something can happen to them. That it's just the law of nature. But we are always concentrated on doing things even more efficiently. When we made that big investment in Olive Branch of the $10 million in a new, system to be able to go through and pick and pack and all this, it's pretty impressive. And I've seen it in person. It's a lot of things that we keep trying to step it up more and more. And we use the same system that Amazon uses in that regard too. So it's top of the list. That's basically what I'll say to wrap that up. It's top of our list as far as saying, let's do things even better. We're not just okay with sitting there and saying, oh, well, we just do this. We're always trying to find a way to do things better and service the customers.
Roger that. Now, this is Nancy McCann. She owns a comic shop in Tennessee. BNC sent me money to help pay the rent while we were closed. That really helps. That's pretty great.
And the key is, I want people to know this as well. When Bink sends money, okay, when they send money out to help the stores, it's really to help the store owner and the stores to survive, because it's not about paying a Diamond bill. That money will never go to pay a Diamond bill. Okay. What that does is goes to bills like your mortgages, like health stuff, whatever things you need help with because you're struggling. So it really helps the store owner and the employees like there. That's what it goes to help. So I want people to think we're trying to raise money to help Diamond. Like, we don't see that money that goes in that charity. That doesn't get filtered to us in any way, because you don't go to pay a Diamond bill with that. You go to pay like personal. That's where they fill out paperwork and they say, this is what I need it for. And it does help. I know a lot of stores that have been helped by them pre-pandemic and said how great they were. And I wouldn't be pushing people making donations if I didn't believe in the charity. I know Lion Forge, obviously in the pun, but like forged or, alliance with them and did the United Comic Fund and all this. And Lion Forge was part of getting that whole comic division jump started with the big donation, and they did a lot. I remember hearing about it in the last New York Comic Con, sitting in there, how they were doing all this stuff for retailers, and they had my one buddy George from Hypno Comics. He got something from. They said how much it helped, and it really does, and it's a lot of heartwarming stories, So I mean, they're doing great things.
Absolutely. And Jim says, I'm glad the bigger message you're promoting is to buy from the local comic shop. That's what it's all about. It's all about your local comic and gaming shops. Now, and here's something, Josh. Again, we're over 45 minutes now. But you personally reached out to creators, to publishers, to retailers, even fans, influencers, press people. How receptive have they been to you? And to the to accept the challenge or to help, like, how has your personal interaction been?
It's been great. You know what? Because the people I was able to contact in the midst of all this stuff and with all these things going on, I didn't hit a wall anywhere. I didn't hit resistance at all when I mentioned what we were trying to do, what the mission was, and what I expected. And I said, hey, can you do this for me? Give you an example of two people. It was J. August Richards, who played Deathlock on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's on the Council of Dads now. I reached out to him, such a nice person. If you ever get to meet somebody and talk with him, he is absolutely incredible. But he said, no problem. And people know that a lot of these celebrities that played superhero characters owe a debt to the comic stores for keeping this medium going and keeping people enthused about comics, and the creators too, and everybody. And they said, I'm more than happy to put out a message and do something like that. Same thing with Kevin Graveau. You remember Kevin Graveau created Underworld. Kevin, it's like Kevin's great. He's got that booming voice. It's just like, I'm just glad I'm talking to you on the phone because it's like, hey Josh. I'm like, geez, man, come on now. It's like I don't know. I could talk to you all day. But he's like, absolutely, anything you need. That kind of stuff. That says a lot because people didn't say, well, I got to check with this person. Maybe I should. They're like, no, it's cool. That's the kind of support you need when somebody's just willing to jump out there for you. And it's like, hey, man, whatever you need. Yeah. So that was really refreshing. I didn't, like I said, the people I was able to talk to myself, I didn't hit resistance. It goes for the Comic Cons too. I talked to Mark Nathan at Baltimore Comic Con immediately. Boom. He goes, what do you need? Didn't bat an eye. What do you need? What do you want us to do? I talked to Dan Farr at FanX. Dan's like, goes, absolutely. I'll go and do the challenge. He goes, I think this is great. I talked to Mike Armstrong at Reed. Reed's like, goes, boom. You saw Reed putting out stuff on their social media too. They've all done it. And it's like, he goes, what? He goes, we're here to think this is a great project. People, and the thing is, all those guys knew the other guy was going to be with us because it was transparent. He said, this isn't just you guys. We're going to reach it. He goes, and it wasn't even a thought in their mind. Says, you know what? Mark Nathan summed it up the best I've heard. He goes, this is our Live Aid moment. He goes, to show the world we are united as a comic community, gaming community, whatever you want to say. We're all together in this. It's not about any one entity in it. It's about all of us in survival together. And that's a huge, illustration there because it's true. If we all do this together, we make it through. But if somebody's going to be out just for themselves, we'll see where everything shakes out. But I think more people are going to be united than divided on this because we want to see the industry continue.
Yeah, I mean, and we got to try something. Now, are you ready? Now, we talked earlier. You said you'll answer any questions. Are you ready for a design question? All right.
Go ahead.
Right here. Startager, why isn't the word comics on the stamp logo?
I've heard this a lot. And you know what it is?
I got to read. You want to raise awareness for the medium without even naming it? Confound you, man.
You have, obviously, in the industry, the throwback to the Comics Code Authority, and all the people have their feelings about certain things. It's because it's comics and the gaming industry, too. We want to say, hey, all the gaming people and all that stuff that we're trying to also raise money. It's not a footnote either. It's both of them. They're equally as big together, right? Yeah. So you say, if we put comics on there, it's like saying, it's very singular on it. We said, but this transcends even comics and gaming, really, if you think about it. Because the people that want to use this as a message or a beacon, they can use it too. And they can say, our comebacks will be great. We can stamp this on whatever we want to. And it's more so I get people saying, why isn't comics on there? I get the argument. Don't think I'm blind to it. But I also think it makes room to offshoot this as well. So you can say, here's our comeback. But as we come back, you can start doing little things that have graphics and all. It say, here, comics are back, whatever else it might be. They could have that kind of stuff. But this as a message, for anybody that does stuff, whether it's toys, whether it's, floppy comics, graphic novels, and they're putting logos on things, it can be put on whatever products it needs to be. And it wasn't about product placement, so to speak, as far as the message, our comeback, our industries, everything, collective. Remember, we're preaching a message of unity, and it's across multiple brands of things. So we want to support everybody in this. If we put it, it sounds like we're only worried about this section, but you know what? We're worried about everybody, and not worried in the sense like, oh no, the shit hit the fan. It's not about that. People are saying, well, does this show desperate times that Steve's willing to put on a t-shirt and do this stuff? No, Steve believes in this. You can see Steve in an interview. He doesn't bullshit either. He's him, through and through. Okay. So it's something we heavily believe in. And I think, like I said, I get people's point about saying, oh, does comics on? It's a bigger message than that is what I'm getting at. Okay. Right. Like I said, I'm long-winded like my father is. That's why.
No, it's great. You're very articulate because a lot of people want to know. Again, I'm getting emails and people are texting, well, what is Back to Comeback? And the more we share it, and again, it's just the bottom line is it's just to share a challenge that you could have to your friend, to share the logo, share something, and it's all about the retailers. It's all about
them and tell them to back them by giving them business, showing them you care. If you shop a retailer, go and show them that you're still here for them. Spend money with them if you have it. I'm not saying go bankrupt yourself to give your money to your local comic store. What I'm saying is make sure you're letting them know they still have your business and you still care and support them, because everybody's trying to crawl out of some kind of hole right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. The real message is back them by showing them you care and giving them your business. And that's, like I said, above the t-shirt, above all that stuff. Forget that for now. I know it's counterproductive, but it says predict t-shirt. Show them you care by spending money with your retailers and supporting them. That's what they need the most. They need your help with that. And not all of them are like, oh, we're in dire straits. Some people are thriving a little bit more because they found creative ways to do things. There's people that were able to make some other forms of income because of this. They said they went to live sales or social sales, or they did stuff and they're like, man, I'm making more money selling my back issues now. There's things, but it's not going to be the norm. A lot of people rely on the new comic sales.
Yeah.
The majority of the industry.
Yeah.
So we want to see those back. We want to see people not scared to go to their comic stores and do curbside. It was great when I did Mark's. I'll tell you right, we rolled up. Mark came out all beard and all. It was great.
I know, dude. I saw a picture of him. What the heck?
Like an adorable little, thinner Santa Claus. And he came out and did that. And it's, it was a good experience, but it made me happy. Besides the mask, because things you realize what you're living in when you have the mask on. You see pictures like this is just funny.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah. Well, you see, another thing is this Comics World in Chambersburg, PA. There is opening back up May 29th. That's great, man. See, I love seeing these comic shops reopening. You know what I mean? And again, people doing social distancing depending on your state, your city, and what the requirements are. Because let's be honest, there's some states, some cities where they had very few cases. Then it's not a thing. Then there's some place like New York City, which is a petri dish.
But
it's
everybody's going to be different. Everybody's going to be different. No two locations are going to operate the same way. They're going to find out what works for them, and that's perfectly okay. It's like, but know that not everybody's going to have the same kind of thing going on. Remember, some states and some areas were kind of almost untouched by the virus thing, and they've been sitting around going, hey, man, we can't get product, but we don't have the same kind of thing as you. But again, for the majority of the country, it was already like, hey, people can't get product because, we're not going to ship it to one store. As much as we feel for those people, we just can't do that.
Yep. Well, Josh, we got 6 minutes left. We're over an hour. Just a few fun things. I think you've really, and we'll finish it up with a good, with again to push it again. But we've had like Jeff Cerrito's on. He says, "Hope you guys are doing well." Two of his favorite people. We love you, Jeff.
Oh, I love that guy. Remember when Jeff thought I was an asshole? I love that guy.
Did he? Oh, I didn't know that.
You know what? I love him like my brother now.
I know. Yeah, I'm going to see Jeff and Charles Tuesday. I'm going to the store. They got in all of, for if I may talk about my stuff, for the She Return of the Warrior fulfillment. All of our fulfillment stuff came in, and they got it. They house it for me. Because they're working. You know what I mean? They're
awesome, man.
And they've got a big need to fill. People are still having, especially with the back issues, people want their books,
collecting supplies, everything. Yeah.
So they've been killing themselves, but they've been, just think about them. A lot of their stuff comes from over their supplies.
Yeah.
And things are shut down, but they're getting all their supplies in. Back in business, man. I love this engine. I love this American engine just reopening and just kicking ass.
Oh, what a time to be alive, man! Oh, look, Niles.
Oh, guys, hey,
you got your Witchblade book?
What? Yeah, when you're a big deal, bro, things happen.
What?
Oh, hang on a second. Let me just put that back on my shelf.
I was the first backer to that. I was backer number 1 to the Witchblade hardcover.
It's probably one of those like 15,000 boxes that you have piled up.
Could be.
How much you want for that book, old man?
Albino is just he was a little confused. I guess he's maybe that you clarified. He said, Pop XP until today, I thought "our" in the slogan referred to Diamond itself. If it emphasized "ours" refers to everyone, the response might have been better. Yeah. Oh, I see "ours,"
Yeah, we're talking about the industry as a whole. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The industry as a whole, everybody, that's what it is. And I thought that was kind of related in that, but I'm like, if it slipped, my apologies. But it is. It's a whole thing. It's not about Diamond, like our comeback. No, it's the industry. We're all going to make it through this.
Varel McDavid got his book too. I'll call my wife, see if anything came for me today.
Dude, it's probably like sitting on your counter or something.
Oh, it better be. See, now I'm mad, and now I have to do something.
You mad, Tucci? You mad?
I am mad. Hang on. I want to make me bigger. Good. It's just interesting. I just want to show you this, Josh. Something I have here. And these are, you can see that. Can you see that? These are my World Series from the 96 World Series. So that's what happens when you steal our manager.
Oh.
And you got to pay it back. You're like, yeah, whatever. I'll just get my
idiot. Like, too bad, too sad.
Yeah, I'm sure it's Steve probably turned off the stream now.
Yeah. I know. It's over you. Scala, how are you, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I just got back, popped in. I was doing a little reading, and you guys just happened to pop on my computer. It was the weirdest thing.
He's infiltrated. It's like those people that popped up on people's Zoom calls and announced them like,
like Aunt Mary is on another call and then she ends up in yours, and she's the one that kicked that fisherman's ass. I should have threw that son of a bitch in the water. Debbie's like, you always got to fight. She's like, I said, well, I wanted to fight him. You fight me.
Nice.
Come out. That kid, it was probably a kid. He was like 7.
No, he's some dude. He's probably like 60, but he had a big mouth. I'm like, I'll throw you in the water, man, right in front of my son. So, you got it. No problem. Anyway, so a few things. Batwoman. I don't know if you're familiar with. Do you watch the Batwoman show? You saw Ruby Rose left.
I saw that.
Anyone you think could be a replacement for her?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know who I've seen right now that I would stick into that role.
Yeah, I thought she looked. I never saw it, but I thought physically I thought she was great for it. The wig looked.
What was it like? Remember, what was it? Kate Beckinsale from Underworld. We talked about Kevin Graveau and stuff like that. Somebody like that, possibly. A little hot. She might be getting a little older now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
My
references are dated. I'm like, is that woman still hot? I don't know. It's like, oh, she's dead. Oh, okay.
Well, Batwoman, the Dark Knight. It's the Dark Knight, but with Batwoman.
It's Eartha Kitt. All right, there we go.
There you go.
She's stick thin. She said, "Hey, there's Charlie. Hello, Charlie."
Charlie's London.
Now, have you heard? Now, is this true that Warner Brothers is bringing back Superman next year?
Yes.
The WB?
Mm-hmm.
Is it cast?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. The gentleman that's been playing Superman on Supergirl and Lois Lane they're now casted for their own show.
Oh, I gotta stop watching less hockey.
It's taking the place of Arrow to fill that time slot.
Oh, really? Arrow's canceled? It ended?
Arrow's done. Yeah, it was its last season.
Oh, it's so sad. So sad. Anyway.
I know. I was just a wreck about it, Billy.
I like when you guys lean into the microphone. It cracks me up.
Because you should lean into your microphone then.
That's what we
right into my mouth.
That's what So do you guys like comic books?
Hate them.
Are you in the club? We got shirts now.
Oh, you got it, Charlie. I watch it. Charlie's London has a great stream. She has a comic book. I don't know if I could mess it up, but it's about Charlie Chaplin that's coming out. I don't know if it's coming out later on this year or next year, but I'll be doing a variant cover for her.
Nice.
So anyway, what does it say?
You guys have been on for an hour.
I know. Excuse me, Diamond Comics.
I'm so sorry, Josh.
It's all good. I'm actually having a really good time.
All
I
right.
knew when I got on here it was going to be longer because me and Billy will sit at like conventions and all and talk. I'm like, we're not talking for 15 minutes, Billy. I'm like, there's no way. Either with that.
When we do talk, we get in trouble. Like my wife's yelling at me because we talk about anything but comics. But this has been great, Josh, for coming on and talking to this. I think you've explained a lot. I think the back to comeback challenge is a great thing. If you guys wouldn't mind sharing it with everyone, share with your friends. Just share the little logo. And the bottom line is to let everyone know that your local comic shops are open. They're open and they're open for business, and they need your business. They've been your. They become like family almost. Some of my best friends are retailers,
Yeah, shop local, shop safe, man. I'm like, that's like keep in mind, and the bigger message is give them your business. Show them you care. And that's the biggest thing you can do right now is just be there for them.
And give them a call ahead of time, see how they're doing it, how they're doing their curbside and all that stuff. Give them a heads up to get everything together.
Send them a friendly message just saying, hey, man, we got your back. Share their posts, share their live streams. Like I said, whatever they're doing to try to sell. You might not want to buy some stuff that day, but you might have friends that you have common interests with. You shared their stream, somebody else popped on, bought something from them,
Yeah, and everybody wants to get out. So pick up your friends that don't like comics and say, hey, you're going to come for a ride with me. And bring them.
Yeah.
Bring them
outside. Walk around outside. Do something. People are going on little walks. Be safe. Do whatever you got to do to distance, but get outside. Don't sit inside.
Exactly.
All the world's still out there.
Yeah, and let your let the owner of your local comic shop know. We've been kind of campaigning that we'll advertise local comic shops on the show. When we're doing our live broadcasts and stuff, if they just want to send a little promo, an image, something, let us know, and we'll help share the word that you're open, that you're doing business. Anything you have, just let them know.
And game stores, comics and game stores.
Comics, game stores, anything.
For both. So.
Yep, and this is
hobby
like
shops.
Yeah, all the shops.
So, and again, with all this charity and stuff, Diamond is not taking the money from it, right? This is all
money does not go to us. We do not keep the money. We do not decide what stores get it. It goes to the charities. That's what it's for. And when the charity auction comes up in July, it'll benefit not only Jack Vassell and Bank, but it'll also be the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund is in that as well. People will be able to choose who they want to donate their money to.
Fantastic. And because I don't fall for stuff like that, I wouldn't be supporting this if I didn't, totally believe in it. I'm not getting anything out of this. I got to put flags out on my block right now.
My undying appreciation. You get that, Billy?
Of course. No, I believe in it. No, I believe in it, Josh. I think when we talked about it a few weeks ago, I'm like, this is a great idea. This is something that could really help the industry. You look at what Jim Lee's doing with his charity auction.
He's doing incredible, man. I'm like, Jim can fart and shoot out like a $10,000 art piece of art. I mean, it's just he's phenomenal. He's he's one of my favorite artists too, next to Billy Tucci.
And he's a great guy. He's a great guy. So, well, thank you so much, Josh. Man, we covered a lot of ground in this hour. This was an amazing educational, instructional conversation, and it was very entertaining. We had a lot of fun with it. And I just want to thank you for coming on, taking that hour out of your day, plus our pre-show.
It was my pleasure. It was absolutely my pleasure. I appreciate you having me.
So thank you, buddy. Everyone out there, I'm trying. Forgive me if I haven't been able to post your things. I'm trying to go to Facebook, the Facebook page posts, and the YouTube page posts. But thank you all. You guys are great. Niall, anything you want to say?
No, I'm just happy I had a chance to at least pop in. Say hi to Josh. Again, I support this.
I missed you.
I missed you, dude.
We don't talk as much as we need to, man.
I know.
Send me your address, by the way.
You don't bring me flowers in the spring.
It's all up to vibrato. You got to really work that.
All right, you guys are great. TJ, King KDI, Charlie's London, Albino, Liquor Jim. You guys are great. Thank you for coming on. All your Facebook, Varel, John Mizer. All the comments have been disappearing. My brother,
comments is Josh.
All you guys, please give. If you guys could please give our guests a like. Again, Josh, we hope you come back on again. We'll see how it's progressing, especially leading up to the auction. That's going to be a big one.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be good. You can find me on Instagram too, just at Josh Geppi on Instagram. You can find me on there. That's where I'm regramming whatever all the stores that are putting up stuff for Back to Comeback, showing them support, following all the stores that do put the stuff up. So, I follow them. Some of them follow me back, but I want to make sure I see what everybody's doing. But get out there, man. Back your comic stores, game stores, but Back to Comeback.
Yeah.
Yep, and we got the great Brian Blevins is.
I was gonna say big shout out to one of our comrades in arms of the Pop XP team.
Yep, XP team.
Fanboy Blevins.
Dude, I love that XP team, Fanboy Blevins.
XP.
Love it.
All right, Josh, you're awesome. Everyone have a great, safe Memorial Day. Remember our fallen. This is, technically it's a holiday, but it's really a remembrance.
Mm-hmm.
And let's celebrate our veterans. And, you see a flag, hang your head high, man, because this country is back, just like the industry. www.backtocomeback.com, #backtocomeback. Yep. Josh Geppi is on Twitter. What's your Instagram, Twitter, all that again, Josh?
My Instagram is @Josh Geppi. I want to say, I don't know what my Twitter is. I think I have like an @SapphirePrez or something.
Yeah, because I couldn't find you, man, to tag you.
Yeah.
It's something @Sapphire.
Yeah, I think @Sapphire_Prez, PREZ.
He said sapphires.
Sapphire Studios.
Get it? It's like a diamond. Get it? A gem.
It fits in the family, right? And that's my birthstone.
Oh, all right, guys. Josh, thank you so much. You rock. Scala, good to see you. Briefly, my boy. Everybody have a great weekend. Thank you so much, and we will see you guys next week. We've got a couple of shows next week. We got 4 plus 1 I'll be doing on Thursday, which will be an afternoon show at lunchtime. It's gonna be lunchtime with your boy Billy Tucci. And an amazing artist. So.
One more thing too, because I've been doing the Previews World game nights on Previews World on Facebook and all. So you'll see me getting my, getting chewed out and everybody ganging up on me playing Quiplash online. So.
And when is that? What is that, Josh?
It's Tuesdays at 4 p.m. and Thursdays at 4 p.m. each day. You'll be able to see us playing Quiplash. It's a little funny game you can play online. If you guys want to come on there and play, be my guest. You can come on there and participate. I'd love to have
Josh.
Very cool.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Josh. Niall, thank you. Everyone, sayonara, adios, salute.
We'll see you next week.
Tally-ho. Let me hit the banner. This is going to be me. I'm running this one, Niall. Ready? I can do it.
You got it? I got it set if you don't.
Ready? No, I think this is it, right?